Because I'm involved in healthcare, it seemed quite natural. Interesting, friends who aren't involved in healthcare got quite upset on my behalf. You know, why are they doing this to you? Why are they asking you to do this? But to me, it seemed quite natural. This was a way for me to be seen as trying to give something back and trying to help. I wanted to sort of try to make it a positive experience, if you like. I wanted to try to do something.
I thought it was a curse, and I would really like to help others and try and pay back, because I really didn't understand what was going on. I was frightened, and the kindness at the hospital was such that wanted me to make this an important part of my life, quite frankly.
I received a lot of opposition from medics who I would approach to say, you have this patient who has recently acquired HIV who qualifies for this clinical trial. I'd like to talk to them about the potential of taking part in this trial. And the medic would say, oh, no, it's a very sensitive issue. I don't think that they would be right for this trial. I'm not sure whether or not they would want to take part. But approaching that individual, more than likely, those individuals did want to take part. And so it was very interesting to show, listen, I recruited 65 patients to this trial at our center alone. And so it showed, and it made me understand that it is easy to approach individuals at this period of time, and that individuals are much more apt to understand, or much more readily apt to take on the issues with regards to their HIV infection at any point during that acquisition.
Actually, I just thought, look, you know, if this is going to make a difference, maybe not to me, but to somebody else, given what I had seen my friends go through in the early 90s and the kind of clinical trials they were on when they were given all sorts of medications that didn't save them. If it hadn't been for them, I wouldn't have a future, so get on and do it.
I liked the idea of being part of a trial where there was a conscious effort to try and come up with some either discovery or resolution or help in some way to aid those that have just found out, or number two, to help those who have been infected for a long time.
Of course, I looked carefully what it involved. If it was simply a study where you take medicines, that was no problem. But I would not have agreed to something deeper, where they touch your body.
I accepted because I wanted to be treated to boost my immunity. I wanted to be treated because I want to live. They checked my CD4s, took tests on my urine, and I was put on family planning so that I don't get pregnant.
I like information, and so by doing this, I did get a lot of information. I felt that the consultants had time, the nurses had time.
There's always someone to talk to if problems develop. So if you feel you're having a funny moment, or there's always someone to phone up straight away, and you could always go in and see a doctor straight away.
Knowing that you have HIV is very bad, but at the same time I was so relieved. Yeah, to find people from Spartak. They were like my second family. Yes, they used to talk about everything. If I have problems, I would go to them and they will comfort me. They will give me all the support that I needed. Yeah.
I think my own curiosity was such that if it was part of a clinical trial, and I'm somewhat familiar with clinical trials because of my past business work, that I would get some information from it, and that would be helpful for me rather than just waiting around until I was eventually tested and found out that I'd have to do something.
I had patients from Manchester, from Wales, from Scotland. I even had some international patients as well. I was quite surprised about the response that I did receive. Again, I thought individuals were going to look at me as being insensitive, but in fact most people were really interested in taking part. And my only reasoning why I could think that would be that people wanted to be seen to be doing something. They felt out of control at that period of time in their lives, and that was a semblance of control that they could have.
It was immediately clear for me that was a good chance for me to test my infection very frequently, and to give me the right support to understand not only the infection but also the change of my life.
Eu vim aqui, me chamaram para pesquisa, eu falei assim, esses caras estão malucos, que eu sou louca, toda maluquete, e esses caras vão me chamar para fazer pesquisa, vai dar tudo errado. Aí tinha uma doutora, não, mas não sei o que e tal, você vai fazer e tal, aí vim, eu não tinha nada demais, porque era só vir aqui uma vez por mês e conversar, e era legal, eu sempre gostei.
Tinha como objetivo deles também.
Participants in the trial were also motivated to feel that they were an important part in the fight against AIDS, that they were pioneers in this type of study with recent infection. People didn't necessarily talk about it, but it was important for them to contribute to this type of research, which is new in Brazil.
Que é nova no Brasil.